Welcome to the Building One Story at a Time podcast.
We're your hosts. I'm Katie Herbine.
And I'm Stephanie Lachance.
This podcast is dedicated to EGStoltzfus homes. We're going to talk a little bit about our design process, the real estate industry itself, things to consider as you are building a new home, and a little bit about our own personal design styles.
Today's episode is a get to know you. So Katie and I have prepared a little background on ourselves. So we're going to kind of run through just a little introduction to who we are, where our interests come from, and kind of our background, so that if and when you do ever build a new home with EGStoltzfus, you'll be a little familiar with us. So I'm Stephanie Lachance. I am from Washington State. That's actually where I was born and raised. I moved out here to go to E-Town College in 2009 after graduating high school. And my original undergraduate studies were in business administration, a concentration in finance, and a minor in theater.
Sounds like you're using all of those.
The finance part I still struggle with. Please don't ask me to do mental math. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks.
But yeah, pretty much. You're absolutely right, Katie.
And my name's Katie Herbine. I'm originally from Ephrata, Pennsylvania. So I was born and raised in the area here. My educational background is also in business administration, so not really design, but definitely got a lot of on-the-job training. And I like to kind of say that I was raised in the industry because my dad is also an employee of EGStoltzfus on the commercial construction side, but it's always been around for us, just like designing the house, redoing the house, thinking about floor plans.
Yeah, Katie was quite literally raised by EGStoltzfus in
Yes.
an EGStoltzfus house.
In an EG house. Yeah, absolutely.
Love that. So before I started with EG, I, in college, worked at White House Black Market. So that was kind of my first introduction to sales. And I'd say what we did at White House Black Market is very similar to what we do at the design studio. So when a lady would come in shopping, we would ask her what she's shopping for. If there was a special occasion, we would get her set up in the dressing room, and then we would bring her back things that would suit her body type, would be flattering on her, or would also align with what she expressed was kind of what she was interested in or the purpose of the visit to the store. And essentially, that's kind of a similar experience that you'll be getting with EGStoltzfus at the design studio when you build with us.
Mm-hmm.
We really try to take the time to get to know you, understand your goals, your lifestyle, your design style. And then because we are around the samples every day, just like I was around the clothes every day, we can kind of better understand how to guide you or what things to recommend to you.
Mm-hmm. So, Steph, how did you get interested in interior design?
That's a great question. Yeah. So I would say it was a progression, and my own design style has changed immensely over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the stuff that I used to decorate with and use in my own house, I would never in a million years use now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you do
sounds
that
about
too?
right. Oh, yeah.
I would say it was when I started with EGStoltzfus, getting to work in a beautiful model home. So I've been with EG for 8 years now. And before we launched the design studio, we didn't used to have an experience like this for our buyers. We used to outsource this to our flooring contractor, actually. But now every buyer gets to come and enjoy and experience our beautiful design studio space and kind of get to choose from even more options than they ever had before. But I got to work out of the model homes, and they were always staged so beautifully and just done so well. So I would say just being in a beautiful home 5 days out of the week for 5.5 years, that pretty much did it for me. I was like, wow, this is cool. I want to learn how to better do this and understand maybe how this could be more of my role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I would say I have pretty similar experience to shifting from my original role with the company to my now design studio role with the company. It was a natural progression for me. I started my career in landscape design and hardscaping, and then transitioned into homes, focusing more on the marketing, which I had to learn about how to market the finishes and features that were in those homes. And it was a natural progression when we did open the design studio to kind of shift my expertise to that area.
Yeah, you really played a crucial role for us in understanding our plans and how to get our product out there, as it doesn't actually come naturally for a lot of people. So just knowing that Katie had that interest in in design and like layouts and floor plans and architecture in general, that really was beneficial to our marketing team, kind of the messages that we put out there. Maybe why plans would be beneficial for certain people. And we have more in store for that in the future too. More to come on that. So how exactly, Katie, would you describe your personal design style?
Well, it's definitely evolved, like you said, but I've pretty much settled on the term dark academia. I really love Harry Potter, which is possibly where I've decided that this is my style. But I'm definitely into that more traditional design where you have a little bit more detailing, a little bit more frills. But I like to say that I'm a minimalist with a maximalist heart because I literally cannot throw anything away. So if I see it and I like it, I buy it and then it stays there and I decorate with it. So, but I really like those deep, rich, dark colors, dark wood tones, very eclectic in my design. What about you, Steph?
So like I said, my style has evolved. I would say my style is also fluid, right? Like it's ever changing. I see new things that I like and I get inspired and I'm like, oh, that's better than what I thought it was before. Or that challenges what I maybe my preconceived notions of something, or that's just very interesting. And I love to learn too, which I think is really helpful in just being open to different things and different interpretations. But right now, what I've kind of settled on, I would say for the last 5 years, would be like a mid-century modern. I like those clean, straight lines. I like a little less ornamental detailing. I try to embrace minimalism. I get a lot of gifts, so I have a lot of things. I try to bring out a thing from my house whenever I bring a thing into my house.
How's that working for you?
It's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress, okay, admittedly. But I'm also not afraid of bold colors.
I was going to say, you definitely don't shy away from the colors.
I quite literally have a lime green wall in my house. The plan with this house I'm in now is to maybe use it as an Airbnb one day. So I kind of want it to be like a little unique and a little bit of like an experience of a stay, so to say, in the future. So
definitely cool.
We have a couple people we want to mention too as like our social media or design inspiration. So Katie, who did you have on your short list of influencers?
It's a pretty short list, but number one, Jean Stauffer. I am obsessed with her design style, her kitchens, just the way she uses color and different textures in material is just beautiful. It always creates a beautiful, different look. And she kind of has that same dark academia style. What about you?
Absolutely. Did you know my friend has a Jean Stauffer kitchen?
I'm so jealous.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And she has that hood too.
Did she meet Jean herself?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they ordered all the cabinets online.
Oh, man, that's cool.
So I'm not really a big social media user in general. My big thing is YouTube. I'm like always doing something. So I like to play YouTube like in the background while I'm doing something. So my YouTubers I would recommend would be Nick Lewis. He has a very similar style to my own. He's actually out of Canada, but he makes videos about like top IKEA finds, like great IKEA furniture you can find, or what's new in 2024 from IKEA, what's the new trend, what are the colors of the year. And then another YouTuber I would recommend is Lisa Holt Design. She is so cute. She has like these little thick black from The Incredibles, Edna.
The Edna glasses.
The Edna glasses. And she talks about, her videos are helpful because she talks about like how to define different styles and also how to find your style. Like she'll give you examples. Like I actually just watched one the other night about what is transitional. And she'll like pull in a photo of a room and tell you what in the room makes this transitional. So that's like super helpful because it's not only showing you, but it's also explaining things to you.
Yeah.
And another YouTuber I do is Paige Wassel. She's a little snarky and curt with her approach to design opinions. So you kind of have to take those YouTube things as like with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've also heard a way to identify your style is if you're like looking on Pinterest, if you pin a bunch of images and then you kind of look at those images, what's the theme across them? Like, oh, I'm always pinning things with dark colors. I probably really like dark colors. Or I'm pinning a lot of things that have natural wood tones and gold accents. That probably is something that I would want to recreate in my house as well.
You're so right about that too, because I've noticed on Pinterest, like it knows what to recommend to me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here's mid-century modern. I'm like, oh, wow, I love all of these images. Pinterest is a great tool to use. And to be honest, another inspiration of mine is you, Katie, because you have your you have your Black Door House Instagram and your little snaps you share with the world of your little plant corners and your black front door.
Yep. It's actually gray now, so maybe I have to change the name. All right. So we also asked each other about our favorite architectural style and our favorite architect. So I wasn't too keen on like the specific architect. I would more lean to like an architectural design style, and specifically thinking of like residential design. I'm really drawn to colonial homes. I think just the detailing of that colonial house, the materials that they use tend to kind of lean towards my personal style, where they're a little bit more ornate. And then my second is the Queen Anne Victorian, just for the downright indulgence of it. I love the steep roofs, the asymmetrical style, which is contrary to a colonial style where everything's very symmetrical, but the wraparound front porches, they're so popular in that style. And like, I grew up watching Gilmore Girls and wanting to be Lorelai, so her house is a Queen Anne Victorian style. So I think that kind of led some of my personal design inspiration as well, like her eclectic interior design in the house too. Awesome. And you had architects on your list, right?
I have at least one, and not to sound too basic, but my favorite architect is Frank Lloyd Wright, which we're in a very great geographic location for him to be my favorite architect. He kind of led the way in the mid-century modern movement, but he also is most famously known for his prairie style. But something that I really appreciate about Frank Lloyd Wright's style is his approach to organic architecture. And this is a quote from him here. "A building should be a product of its place and its time, intimately connected to a particular moment and site, never the result of an imposed style." So he really had a focus on building around the site and integrating into the site rather than changing the site to accommodate for the structure. So, for example, Falling Water, which is located just outside of Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania.
You actually went there, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Made a nice little weekend out of it.
That's cool. And you went to Falling Water too, right?
Yes, Falling Water. Yeah. And his use of, number one, mixed elements, concrete, steel, but the house literally sits atop it cantilevers over a waterfall. So instead of moving the waterfall, redirecting water to accommodate for this house, he said, we're going to build on top of the waterfall, and the structure is going to live in harmony with the waterfall. So a very unique place to visit.
I just got goosebumps.
I hope you get to go, Katie. I hope everyone listening gets a chance to visit.
Yeah, that would be really cool. We did go to, I can't remember the name of the architect that built the house that we went to for my bachelorette in the Pocono area.
Oh, yes. Jonathan Adler.
Jonathan
right?
Adler, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really cool house too, kind of set in the woods and really embracing the natural elements around it. Big windows so you can see the view, and I love that, bringing in the colors from the outside into the inside so everything can live in harmony.
And then we also asked each other about a few good design or architectural book recommendations. And on my short list, I had the Universal Principles of Interior Design. This one is super reader friendly. It's a very good introduction to how to talk about design and how to talk about different aspects of design, maybe how to describe buildings and describe architecture, lots of photographs. And then I also had a book I picked up at the Falling Water library, or gift store rather, which was 100 Ideas That Changed Architecture. This one reads a little bit more like a textbook. This one will help put you to sleep at night. But again, it kind of introduces like when were walls used and how have walls evolved over time and what building materials have we changed to accommodate better walls, whether that's structurally better insulated, et cetera, et cetera. So that's more on like the nerdy building science end.
I was going to say.
Architecture.
Walls.
They have other stuff in there too. Another good book to check out if you are interested at all in sustainable design or green building would be Sustainable Design, A Critical Guide. I actually had to read this as a textbook. Again, it doesn't read too much like a textbook, but I took a sustainable architecture course. I'm doing some continuing education at HAC, And I took a sustainable architecture course there. And this was one of the books that we had to read for that. But really interesting concepts. And it also talks about concepts that we don't necessarily use so much in our local building region, but that may apply to like the larger national building region, and how your geographic location can impact trends or changes in either the way things are built or in architecture, for example.
That makes a ton of sense. Like the region that you're in, what's sustainable there could be totally different than something that's sustainable in another region. Wow. I don't read that much, so I did not have any book recommendations. I watch a lot of TV. So I watched an Interiors Defined series that was really interesting because it was like little 10-minute segments. I think it was actually on the Magnolia Network, so Joanna Gaines's network. But each style was a 10-minute episode, and it kind of broke down the elements that you'll see in each interior design style. And I think the one that I found most interesting was Art Deco, and how that influenced like a lot of cities were coming about in the Art Deco era. And so you'll see that in like the Empire State Building with the Art Deco design and stuff. But that was definitely a good resource if you're still kind of trying to identify your style. Watching those little short videos about each style could definitely help to identify like what elements about a certain style are you really drawn to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Art Deco is another one I could put on my list.
I know you love Art Deco.
I like Art Deco accents and furniture pieces, but not so much Art Deco like built-in elements.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, wonderful. Well, we are super excited to be spending this time together. We hope you enjoyed this little get to know us session. We will be connecting again at a point in the future to share some more information on building with EGStoltzfus and different design tips and market conditions.
All right. We'll see you then. Well, talk to you then.